Welcome to Football with Cheese. Happy Monday. So before we get into the recap, I actually started recording this video and I started with the Packers-Eagles game. And I realized, I got about 6.5 minutes in and realized I was very annoyed and very grumpy. And I hadn't even gotten to the Eagles yet. I was just talking about the Packers. I stopped and I said, this isn't going well. And I decided, as a Packer fan, to talk about that game tomorrow. I'm going to combine that and do the recap with the Rams and Vikings, and then I'll do Packers-Eagles together. Because I think I need about 24 hours just to be less grumpy. Before we get to the recap of the other two games, Mike Vrabel was hired as the Patriots coach. Duh. We knew this was coming. They should have hired him last year. I think the only reason they didn't was Gerard Mayo somehow was like the heir apparent to Belichick, the coach in waiting. And if they didn't hire him, they'd have to explain why. But Vrabel's a good coach, good hire. And Mike McCarthy is no longer the coach of the Cowboys. Congratulations, Cowboy fans. You can do better. Everyone who knows me, and I said it in another video, McCarthy is just, I think he's a good guy. It looked like the Cowboys players love playing for him. Didn't always happen that way with the Packers. I think at the end, the Packer players were ready for a change, or at least some of them. But Mike McCarthy, there were some unbelievable Packer teams, like about 9-10 years ago. Great roster. And in the playoffs, he just get out coached so bad. And especially like Jim Harbaugh and the 49ers, it's like I knew they were going to lose that playoff game. It'd be close, and they'd somehow blow it, and they'd get out coached. And Harbaugh was ready for so many things the Packers did. I just don't think McCarthy's very good with game preparation. I don't think he's a great coach. Cowboys, like I said, you can do better. Let's get to the recap. Let's start with Tampa Bay, Washington. Finally a good game, right? Finally a game down to the wire. The previous games were just, I think they're all two-score games or more. Yeah, I think 12 points was the closest game until this. Really enjoyed it. I said in the preview, don't let Terry McLaurin beat you. Late in the fourth quarter, when the Buccaneers were up 17-13, 4th and 2, inside the 10, they let Terry McLaurin catch a ball in the middle of the end zone. You got to double him. You can't let him beat you. And they did. A few plays before that, Baker Mayfield, before that touchdown, fumbles the handoff. Like I said in the preview show, Baker Mayfield, he's going to give you some opportunities, either with fumbles or interceptions. You got to take advantage of them. He just fumbled the handoff. And that was the most important play of the game. Because then Washington got it right back after being stopped on 4th down. Buccaneers got some big stops in this game on defense and just gave it right back. And then this 4th and 2, they got it. Baker, big mistake there. Mike Evans made an unbelievable. Do you see him extend that 1st down? God, he's such a good player. It was awesome. Washington, they're a really good team. And I knew they'd be better than 4 wins. I think most people knew that. They won 4 games last year. They picked 2nd in the draft. They got Jaden Daniels. But no one predicted. They're 13-5 right now. They're 6-3 on the road. Outstanding. Very tough task in Detroit. But one thing Washington did, obviously Jaden Daniels is the main reason they're better. Obviously. One of the best rookie seasons any quarterback's ever had. Maybe the best ever. Either that or CJ Stroud from last year. But one thing they did is they brought in a lot of veterans. And a lot of them weren't like great players. Some of them were. Bobby Wagner's a great player. Middle linebacker. Maybe a Hall of Famer. But the rest of them are not great players, but they needed bodies. Because the roster was bad. And they needed people to fill spots on the roster. And they decided to do it with veterans. And what it also did is brought a lot of leadership to this team. I'm looking at some of these signings, and a lot of these guys are really good locker room guys. And Dan Quinn brought guys also that he knows. Olamide Zaccheaus. God, these names. Oh my gosh. I think Dan Quinn coached him in Atlanta. And then he coached Dorrance Armstrong, the edge rusher, and Tyler Biadasz. Oh God, these names. The center in Dallas. He was the defensive coordinator in Dallas last year. So he brought in guys he knew. Frankie Louvu, the other linebacker next to Wagner, another great pickup. We need some like Michael Smiths and John Nelsons in the NFL. Like Josh Allen, that's a good name. I like that name. Easy to say. These names are crazy. Zach Ertz, another one they brought in. Austin Eckler. They're not what they used to be, maybe. Ertz definitely doesn't have the speed he used to. But Cleveland Farrell, another one. Great locker room guys, veterans. Know what to do. They're going to do their job. Maybe they're not great players, but they're going to do their job. I think that's a really important reason why Washington did so well. And the Bears did this too. They signed a bunch of veterans to a lesser extent, but it didn't work out. It didn't work out. Somehow it just didn't work the same as Washington. But I get it. You need veterans, you need leadership around your young quarterback. At the time, I'm like, why are they signing these guys? And now it makes total sense. Worked in Washington, didn't work in Chicago. Tampa Bay, it's a shame, but they had their chances, and that fumble just killed it. And yeah, Washington goes to Detroit. Whew, gonna be tough. Washington, gonna be really tough to win that game. Bills Broncos. This will go quick. This is not gonna much shorter recap than the Tampa Washington game. Total blowout. Great start by Denver. Hit that deep ball. I got messaged by two people saying, "Wow, the Bills defense is not very good, or they stink." And I'm like, yeah, it's not a great defense. And then they give up nothing the rest of the game. The Broncos they couldn't move the ball. They didn't run the ball enough. They're not a very good running team. The O-line is much better pass blocking. They've got to find a running game next year. But that fake punt was awesome. They were down 10-7 at the time. I'm like, okay, great play. If they can go and get a touchdown, they'll get the lead. They'll be up 14-10. And then even after the fake punt, they had to punt again. They just could not get first downs in key moments of the game. And the key play of the game, the Bills are up 13-7. And they had a 4th and 1. And they didn't sneak it with Josh Allen, which was insane. And he goes back to pass. I'm like, what are you doing? And then he throws it in the end zone, way down the field, to Ty Johnson, the running back, who makes an unbelievable catch. Probably, I don't know the percentage that gets complete. There's probably some next-gen stat that has that, but I'm sure it was low, less than 20%. Great catch. Instead of 13-7, Broncos get the ball, down 13-7, they're down 21-7 after the 2-point. So, yeah, Broncos never really did anything after that. Josh Allen's amazing. James Cook, great game. Amazing players. Mac Hollins maybe had the hit of the year. When Marvin Mims went to catch that punt, he got turned around. And so Mac Hollins hit him in the back. A legal hit. Just absolutely crushed him. What a hit. In case you missed it, you can find it. It was all over X. See how much more positive, less grumpy when I'm talking about games that my team were not in? So there we go. Okay. So tomorrow, I'm going to recap the Rams and Vikings and also the Packers-Eagles. So hopefully it will go much more smoothly. In case you did not watch yesterday, I predicted the Rams would cover 2.5 and went straight up. My instinct was to pick the Ravens, but I took the Steelers because I thought 9.5 was 2 points. Well, my gut was to take the Vikings, but then I went with the Rams. So I should switch it, but I'm not going to switch it. But Vikings will probably win then. But so Philadelphia will host the winner of the game tonight, and then the Texans on Saturday go to Kansas City, and the game I'm looking forward to the most is Ravens at Bills. Can't wait to see it. Hope it's high scoring. Hope it's just back and forth the whole game. Should be awesome. Alrighty. So, last thing. I used to be last year I became a football journalist, started writing. I wrote for a couple different publications. And I wanted to start this channel then, but I just didn't have time to do both. Writing articles, I don't know how those people that do write 3 or 4 articles a day. It's hard to write even 2 a day and also have a job, like a regular job. So I started doing this. I'm no longer writing for those publications, and I'm really enjoying doing these videos so much more than writing, so much more. It's just a lot more fun, and it takes up less time. So just really enjoying it. Got a lot of positive feedback. A couple people are asking me to cut my hair. We'll see. We'll see. And I do talk into the camera, but I think the long-term goal for this channel is to get a co-host. If you know anyone that is already in the business and wants a co-host or wants to join the show, or just someone who loves football, has knowledge of all 32 teams, loves the draft, is good at bantering back and forth, I think that's the ultimate goal. Mike and Mike, if you ever listen to that show, is a radio show on ESPN Radio. I used to have a job where I drive into work and listen to it. They were great together, back and forth. It was really entertaining. If you watch either one by themselves, they're not very entertaining, to be honest. That's what I'm looking for. So subscribe, leave a comment about the games, anything, any ideas for videos. I'm going to do a Mike Tomlin and Matt LaFleur video because a lot of fans are calling for them to be fired, and it's not going to happen. And I just want to go over the pros and cons and what I think of that. And share this video. Anyone who likes football, share this video out there, and I will talk to you more.